Disney just announced to their cast members that they're introducing a fifth key to the kingdom. What is it? Why are they doing it? And what does this mean for the parks and cast members? Hey, if you like this video and you think it brings up some good discussion points, I would so appreciate if you hit that like button and subscribed if you haven't already. Thanks so much. Now let's get into it. One of the very first things that any new Disney cast member gets to go to is traditions, regardless if they're in the parks or some other place in the company. Traditions for the parks include some things that are definitely oriented just for the parks and the businesses related to them. Chief among those is the keys to the kingdom. And this is something that every cast member is going to get drilled on, that they're going to memorize. Any cast member, current and most of us past, should be able to recite these things right off the top of the bat. Safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. They guide everything that you do in your job, and everything in your job is going to basically come from those four keys. They are your guidance for being able to make the park experience the safest and the best for everybody, guests and cast members included. Over the years, they have added a few things to them. They've tried to build upon them. When I was there, for example, we had the Disney service basics that they gave us, and that was something that they tried to reinforce the four keys. It was underneath it. And these included things like, I am courteous and respectful to all guests, including children. Part of courtesy. I go above and beyond. Part of courtesy. I stay in character and play the part. Part of show. So things trying to reinforce it a little bit. They even at one point had something called the 7 Guest Service Guidelines. And again, they put it on a little card based on the 7 dwarves. Again, under the 4 keys. I'm happy. Smile and make eye contact. Don't be bashful. Seek out guest contact. Things like this to try to make the guest experience the best it possibly could be. Everything, again, all under those 4 keys. So what are these 4 keys again? Well, safety, and I'm going to read off some of the actual subpoints that the park gives you with each one of these. Safety. I practice safe behaviors in everything I do. I take action to always put safety first. I speak up to ensure the safety of others. Safety is paramount. Safety is above everything else. Nothing compromises safety. Even to the point where on your name tag, it's even on your name tag to remind you, Safe D begins with me, D standing for Disney. Safety is above and beyond everything else. Right below that is courtesy. I project a positive image and energy. I'm courteous and respectful to guests of all ages. I'm going to talk about that point a little bit more later. I go above and beyond to exceed guest expectations. Courtesy's huge. Courtesy, honestly, outside of safety issues, courtesy is number 1. Safety is the only thing that trumps it. And even then, you should always be courteous. Show. I stay in character and perform my role in the show. I ensure my area is show ready at all times. Make it look good. Make it be believable. Keep the image and the presentation up. Efficiency. I perform my role efficiently so guests get the most out of their visit. I use my time and resources wisely. Efficiency is the last one on the list. And it's there for a reason. Efficiency is the one that if you're going to compromise anything, that's it. Okay, maybe you're a slight slower dispatching a ride to deal with a guest and help them out. Or maybe I'm not taking quite as many pictures because I had a guest that needed some help. Efficiency comes last. It's still important, still very important. All 4 of them are, but they're in an order for a reason, and that's your priority. Everything that a cast member does in the parks, everything that they do as far as relating to guests, to their jobs, whether it's in the kitchen or running the rides or cleaning up or taking pictures or working in the stores, everything is guided by those 4 keys. And they are kind of the foundation and motivation for everything that you do. One other thing I want to make a point of with those keys, they are not company-wide mission statements. The company still has a mission statement, a vision statement, its cultural values. The keys are really more specific, gauged towards the parks and resorts and places that you're dealing with visitors, with guests. That's really where they're oriented. So they're not necessarily oriented towards the rest of the company. And they date all the way back to the 60s when Walt was still around. Walt oversaw the keys being implemented. So they've got a long history and have been there a long time. Disney this last week announced a new 5th key. A fifth key. We're no longer the four horsemen. Okay, no. A fifth key. Inclusion. Inclusion. And I'm trying to figure out where this fits. Let me give you some of the things that they have posted up here in announcing this for people. They said that we're always open to reimagining our experiences to make them inclusive and welcoming for all, and we actively listen to our fans and employees. By adding the inclusion key, we are making a highly visible and significant commitment to true cultural transformation, while ensuring inclusion is a driving force behind all of our decision making. They don't know yet where it's going to fit into the 5 keys, which order of priority, but I'm kind of guessing it's going to be right below courtesy and just above show. Just that kind of seems to be where it would fit best. There's a chance they might put it above courtesy, but I doubt that. But what does it actually mean for the company? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how this would actually mean anything significant or change anything. You see, inclusivity is something that Disney has been doing for many, many, many years. Disney has been one of the most inclusive companies out there already. When it came to gay couples, LGBT, all of that, Disney has been one of the most inclusive companies and welcoming out there for a very long time. They were one of the very first ones that welcomed in special event gay days. Even though Disney didn't operate it, run it, organize it, or any of that, they welcomed it. Disney has gone a long ways towards promoting inclusivity. It's actually one of their stated cultural values. Now remember, I said cultural values are a company-wide thing, and it goes everywhere, even down to the Walk in the Park newsletter. This is from 2006 when I worked there. So this is from a long ways off. And in the middle of it, they actually have June is Gay and Lesbian Pride Month, to let you know this is coming up, to talk about it, to help you understand what's going on. Important dates. June 14th, the Diversity and Inclusion Talk series. See, inclusion has been an area that really Disney has been very strong on. In fact, when it comes to being inclusive, the only areas I can think of offhand that they've struggled in were a few years back when it came to religion. In particular, Sikhs wanting to wear their turbans and their beards while working at Disneyland, and also Muslim women wearing the scarves. Disney did have issues with that because it didn't fit into their Disney dress code and they had to make some adjustments. That was one area they weren't real inclusive for a little bit, and they're much better on that now. But outside of that, they have been very inclusive and a leader in that. Disney has promoted being inclusive for decades. So this is not something new to the company by any means at all. But bringing it in as one of the keys to the kingdom is. Their statements here as to why they're adding this says, adding a 5th key is a highly visible and significant commitment to true cultural transformation. And I have to be honest, I think they're far more focused on that highly visible than on the cultural transformation part. Because they've already been cutting edge on the cultural transformation. Why are we having to make a visible PR move now? See, I'm not sure what is going to actually do different in the parks that's not already being done and covered by courtesy. Disney says including it in their keys will help them to reinforce it, but how is it not already being reinforced? I guess my question really becomes, in what ways are you going to be practicing inclusion that you aren't already doing under courtesy? And if you aren't already doing it under courtesy, then aren't you failing at courtesy? Because really, courtesy covers everything that they're trying to say inclusive is. And in fact, if you're being exclusive, well, you're being discourteous. So it automatically kind of hits that. Let me go into courtesy a little bit more and kind of explain what I mean here and let you see. And again, this is Disney's own stuff here. Courtesy, I project a positive image and energy. To smile, to be approachable, to make contact with the guests, regardless of who they are. Smile at everybody, be happy, be greeting, help them out, be friendly to everybody, okay? Number 2, I'm courteous and respectful to guests of all ages. Now, the ages thing was actually added on because of some age discrimination in Asia. So that's why it's emphasized there. But when you go on traditions and you start talking, they really emphasize this, that I am courteous and respectful to all guests, regardless of age, gender, identity, religion, culture, race, whatever it may be. You are respectful and courteous to all guests. You greet, welcome, and thank all guests. You engage in guest interactions with all guests. You keep conversations positive and appropriate with all guests. And then this is actually one of Disney's subpoints here. You treat each guest as an individual, respecting who they are. Is that not the very definition of inclusion right there? They've already got it in courtesy. So why add it? Courtesy also includes I go above and beyond to exceed guest expectations, to create surprises and magical moments, to anticipate needs and offer assistance, and to provide immediate service recovery. Courtesy is huge, and like I said, it already includes this. Courtesy means that you treat every guest, regardless of who they are, what they look like, what they believe, how they dress. You treat every guest as an important and valuable person. You respect and act appropriately to everybody. That's part of what courtesy is. It doesn't get much more inclusive than that. You don't call out one group as more important than another group. You treat everybody on the same level. That's part of being courteous. And it doesn't matter what their identity is, what their religion is. It will matter a little bit on how they behave because you want them to keep appropriate behavior. If somebody is a person of faith or they're an atheist, you don't treat one or the other differently in the park. If somebody is LGBT or they're straight, you don't treat them any differently in the parks. If it doesn't matter if they're getting on a ride, ordering food, shopping, getting a picture. When I was taking pictures of guests, if they wanted a picture in front of the castle, great. I don't care who they are. If they want a picture kissing in front of the castle, okay, fine. I'll take a picture of you kissing. Keep it family appropriate. And that didn't matter if they were LGBT or straight. Keep it family appropriate. Don't want to see certain things, and I don't care what your orientation is. We treated everybody the same. And when I would have a couple get a little hot and heavy, and again, didn't matter if they gay or straight, I was like, hey guys, there are children around. We can't do that. You treat everybody with respect that way. Because everybody is worthy of respect. That's part of being what inclusive is, but it's also part of extending courtesy to everybody. Really, I guess my questions become, is this going to make any difference? I don't see how. I don't see what it's going to really change. The only thing I can really come up with why they're adding this is it seems like it's a PR thing. Again, there's nothing wrong with being inclusive. I think it's important, it's valuable, it's needed. That's why Disney has it in their cultural statements. It's why they've always emphasized this. It's very appropriate. But I'm trying to understand the need for a fifth key for it when it's really already included in courtesy. It almost seems a distraction. And really, to me, it really feels like it's a PR stunt. Hey, look how we're doing. Look how we're moving on this. We've been doing this for decades already. We're really not changing anything, but now we just want to make sure that our cast members see it more. Coming at a time when Disney is really suffering from a lot of bad press between layoffs and a number of other issues they're having, it really feels not necessarily a necessity in the park or something important to the parks. It feels like they're trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat and hide what's going on. Now, this hasn't been promoted out to the general public yet. It's pretty much among cast members and the Disney fan sites that have made note. So it's not really a PR thing yet, but there's a lot of kind of waiting to see what's going to go on with this. They're still developing it. They're still building it. They're still trying to figure out the frameworks. And so it's going to be a few months before we really see what it actually means. But I'm just really stumped as to how it's going to make any difference. What, as a cast member, would you do that would be inclusive that you're not already doing as courtesy? What is it going to change? How's this going to affect anything? And outside of looking woke, I don't understand what really the point and the purpose is that isn't already being accomplished in the company in other places. Really, in many ways, probably even better and more effective than this would be. I'm kind of torn, and I'm kind of stumped. Now, if you've got some idea of what they may do with this that doesn't already fit under courtesy, I'd love to hear it. Please share it in the comments. I've been asking on message boards and other places, and so far, I haven't heard anything that isn't already falling under courtesy. I've heard some people, well, it's going to help move things along. Well, it's already moving along. That's the cultural standards that the company has. What will this do different? I don't know. And we'll see in a few months, but at this point in time, this really seems like a waste of time, energy, and completely unnecessary because it's something that's already covered and already happening. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's nothing against being inclusive. It really isn't. It's just against doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff to make yourself look good when you don't really need to. It sounds like a lot of hot air to me. I guess that's a good way to put it. But I would love to hear your thoughts too. Is this an awesome thing? Is it a waste of time? Is it a terrible thing? Please share your comments below along with why you think that way and feel that way. I'd love to hear more reasons why this is a great thing because I just haven't heard any yet. And maybe I'm blatantly missing the point. That's okay. Let me know. Fill me in below in the comments. Please don't forget to hit like and share. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you as well to my patrons and my financial supporters. They mean the world to me. I couldn't do what I do without them. If you want to know more about Patreon or YouTube membership, check the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless. Now, the keys are really park and resort centric point. When you talk about safety, character, yeah, in that there are some things that are oriented strictly for the parks and the businesses related to them. Shut up! Ah! This is my third time recording it, and I can't get my phone to stop beeping and people messaging and calling. It's frustrating. Okay. Okay, I missed part of this. Try this. Hey, if you like this video, if you agree with me, if you disagree... If you'd like to know about my merchandise, contact information, fan pages, and more, be sure to check the description below. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of my videos, hit that button right there to subscribe. And if you want to see another one, well, I've got a great video for you right here. If you'd like to be like these wonderful people here too and support me financially on Patreon or YouTube, well, hit that little button right there. It'll even give you behind the scenes access and more perks. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless.